Okay, hello guys. It's here. Just making a quick video and trying to not make it too long, reviewing some concept that we've been working in the last few weeks. As an example, I took a EUM Masters game that actually took place yesterday, right? Between KCorp, so KCorp against BTXL. So KCorp won the LFL this year, this split. They ended first and won playoff as well. So I think it was a good example. I've already reviewed a bit of the early game. I think I'm going until the 80 minutes mark, something like that. When the game kind of ends for KCorp, watching at some good plays they make and also some quick mistakes, they ended up winning the game, obviously, with this comp. So at first, I just want to look at the comps. Oh, yep. So I mostly want to look at the comps first. For KCorp, as we see, we have a Renekton that was blind picked on third, whatever. But still, so we're looking for a strong side Renekton here with Unnatural kind of weak side. We have a good prio mid with Tristana and the Lilia who wants to look for invades and use the Tristana prio, right? We know that Tristana is going to have free prio against Victor. Alistar as well are going to be kind of weak against Thresh and Jinx. And Renekton is going to have a strong early game laning phase against Ornn, right? So looking at that, we know that KCorp mostly is going to look for top plays for Renekton to be able to snowball and then through mid, which means mid prio is going to get top advantage. And from that, what we want to do is take that Renekton snowball into the bot side and try to win all three lanes to control dragon, right? Because we know that dragons are the objectives we want to stack to be able to secure late game, especially against the BTXL comp, which is really high late game classic front to back team fighting with two frontline with Ornn and Udyr and the two hard carries with Jinx and Victor who have more range as well than the KCorp composition. Okay. So this is like pretty basic. So we want to use the top and mid prio, mid to top, and then tops to dragon. Okay, so this is mostly how it's gonna work. When the big TXL comp is a bit easier to play, and it's like pretty much bot prio into dragon control and scaling. Okay, so this is pretty much what I do. So we don't look for who has prio first. So we know that KCorp is gonna have top prio with Renekton and mid prio with Tristana, while BTXL is gonna have prio with both with bot with Jinx and Thresh against Alistar level 1. Pretty easy. So Udyr is gonna start top to end up on Scuttle, and the Lilia is gonna start bot to end up at top Scuttle, right? So we trade Scuttle, that's fine. Okay. I'll try to not make like too many poses, or maybe like just some throwback to show you guys how it works. Maybe can make it a bit faster, slightly. Let's see. Something like that should be fine. Yep. Thought not much is gonna happen, so we know that Renekton is probably gonna crash 3 or 4th. If he crashes 3 on the top side, he can look for a Cheeto recall, for example, because since they have mid prio, like Renekton doesn't need to have prio on 4th wave, right? Because 4th wave is prio for Scuttle, but since they have 2 prios on the top side, which Tristana and Renekton, he doesn't like really need to crash 4th, while Tristana like is going to be able to crash any wave they want, while bot side from BTXL wants to crash 4th because since they don't have mid prio on Victor, they probably wanna make sure that their bot lane is able to actually be there for Udyr, right? Even though like Udyr is gonna be faster than Lilia anyway, so pretty basic. So we see that BTXL has the bot prio as we expected. Tristana has prio as well. Tristana checks the pathing from Udyr here, right? So she makes sure that she starts it up. So now we know. Pretty good trading by BTXL here. They crash the 4th wave here, right? So this is 1st wave when it is going to be 2 Scuttle, as we said. Redington is crashing 4th as well, and Tristana crash 3rd, and then she gets some vision, and then she comes back to crash 4th. So this is pretty like trading between the two, so nothing much happening here. The game starts as pretty much, you know, second rotation for junglers. The first recall for Udyr, first recall for Tristana, like Tristana recalls with her jungler because she crossed 5th wave here. So it's gonna be 6th wave for her. So it's a cannon wave for Tristana here, so she doesn't lose too much. Okay, and good bounce back. Since it's 4th crash by BTLX here, they're able to get a bounce back and they are zoning. But Alistar and as well can't contest because Urgia was bot side, they had no information, they were not sure. So they just had to recall and do some wave and it's fine. Okay, so Tristana keeps pushing mid. Urgia is gonna pass to bot again, so this is second clear, so we know that both jungler are pretty much at the same, you know, place. Okay, this is the first move that actually works pretty well. Since Renekton, as we see here, okay, we'll just check a bit. Yep, we see already the mid lane, right? Look, if you look at mid lane, here Renekton crashed 4th, as we said, so he has bounced back on wave 5th, right? So he has bounced back here, so he just look for some trading on the Ornn. He knows that he's not gonna die. I think this actually can be a bit dangerous. As I talked like yesterday, this trading here could be a bit dangerous, slightly before because I think it was like here. Here he's taking like an offensive trade on Ornn at some point when Urger wasn't Krugs, but since he has like Tribush warded, right? And he has Scuttle, he knows that Urge because he knows that Urge should be topside because he's Lydia at bot right? So they're like both junglers are doing the same thing. But since he's like covered by 2 vision steps, so here Urge could be like in the bush and get a kill on the bounce back to help his own crash the wave, right? There's a possibility for Urge to be in the bush in the lane. So Renekton doesn't have any information about Urgia being in the bush. Urgia probably wants to play for bot side, but you still don't know. So this is kind of dangerous, I'd say, even though it's very unlikely. He has information, as we said, on the Tribush and Scuttle. So he's like, I don't think you're just gonna gank me right there, and it's low priority, but it can be a bit dangerous. But he still like kind of takes the call because here taking the trade on the Ornn here is making him able to have to try and create a freeze with Tristana prio as we see, and that Lilia is timing her pathing, like she skipped wolves, and she's looking for a top side move based on her mid prio. Like she's timing her pathing jungle on mid prio to get a 3-on-1 in the top side. Okay, as we said on Ornn, so they really want to look for an advantage on the Ornn. And Alistar is not coming. So why is Alistar not roaming that much? Actually, since Tristana has free prio on Victor, Alistar just needs to be around mid just to make sure that Thresh doesn't help the Victor, for example, and he just walks back to bot so his Ezreal doesn't like get too far behind. Okay, so Alistar doesn't need to help his mid get prio because Tristana has natural prio on Victor. Okay, he's just like making sure that Tristana can do what she wants to do, but he doesn't have to do much more. Okay. Like even though bot lane loses a lot, the plan is just to make sure that we want to wait for Renekton to be like strong and then get an advantage and a snowball from it. So use the mid to get top and then top to bot and dragon. So even if we lose like with the first Drake, it's fine because we need time to get the Renekton ahead. And he's already like 10 CS advantage. Okay. So the good trading that Renekton took earlier in the game, see like here, want to look back at the trading he takes here, right? Like here, walks up, W here. So here the trading that Renekton takes, since Ornn he has to go back, right? Because Tristan and Lily are coming top as we were talking here. So we send them. So he has to walk back, but he still wants to crush that wave, but he can't. He's too much in danger, right? So he just waits until he sees Tristana mid back again. He waits in the bush. When he sees Tristana, he just like hard crushes the wave here, right? Renekton is going in back again, as we saw. Like he used double dash here. So Renekton, right, to zone the Ornn from crashing the wave, because he just wants to keep him here, and he knows that he's not in danger of Uji right now, and he has Lilia backup and Tristana TP, like whatever happens, he has backup, so he's fine, and he just really wants to force like a TP advantage for himself, okay? So Ornn has to back up, Ornn is low, so Ornn is gonna back, right? And by also doing that, doing the trading Renekton is doing, what he does is he's create from the bounce back he got earlier, he's creating a slow push again towards the on, right? Also by trading him creates a slow pushback and also like kind of um, get his HP down. So Ornn is forced to go back to base and TP back to lane so he doesn't lose a lot of CS. So by doing that, now that Renekton has a pushback, he's gonna stack next wave. Lilia got back to her wolves, right? Then to her Gromp. Tristana is gonna push one more wave, and they both gonna go top to dive Ornn. So the communication is okay. I got to bounce back. Ornn is gonna back to base because he's low. He's gonna TP back to lane. I'll crush two waves. We can dive in 3v1. He has no TP, and I can hard win lane on that. Okay. And meanwhile, bot lane is like, okay, so we kind of fucked in our wave because enemy bot lane crashed fourth, as we said, as I got a bounce back, and they are still freezing. Okay, here they are still freezing from the bounce back they got earlier. And Ezreal is gonna lose a lot of CS. See, he has like 10 CS behind already. Ujir is around bot side as we know because he wants to make sure that his Jinx and his Victor scale, right, and control Dragon. So he has like also two pink wards in the bot side. Tristana got ward on the top side because they want to play top. Here he has free rotation to top because she can see Ujir. Also she can like make sure that Ujir pathes to bot whenever he crosses Raptors. Okay, so here both team kind of respect the plan they both have. Okay. But here it's fine for Ezreal to lose CS. He's just farming safe, and Alistar's just has to make sure that Ezreal doesn't get dove, for example. So he just gets some XPs and stuff. Like he doesn't need to overcome it on top side because his top side is like naturally winning. Okay, so let's look at Tristana and Lilia. So they're crashing mid, and they're going to the top side. So Ornn, so Ornn is gonna die here. Okay, so Ornn is gonna die here to the 3v1 with pretty good timing with the ult on Renekton because Renekton has to bounce back as we said. He has to bounce back, he has a slow push back. Also, so he took like one more wave. Ornn is TPing, so Ornn lost like half a wave or a wave. So Ornn also, Renekton also has XP advantage. So he communicates that with the team. Okay, I have XP advantage here on this wave, on this cannon wave, I have XP advantage. I'm gonna get level 6. So we want to kill him before he gets level 6. I can tank the tower with my level 6. Also, Tristana got back to lane, right? Because we know that it's the wave, so the cannon wave at 530 that gets level 6 on solo lanes, both, right? Tristana got 6 on the wave she just took, and Renekton gets 6 here. So they both dive the level 5 Ornn on level 6 mid and level 6 top, which is really good timing from them. Okay, and the Lilia just plays with lane timing to get that dive and the first blood on and the first blood. Okay, nice. Ornn shouldn't be tipping right here. Ornn should just not. The, Here it's mistake from Ornn. The mistake from Ornn was getting baited earlier on the trade by Renekton. You know, when he wanted to crash the wave, he was traded by Renekton because Renekton wanted to push him back off lane, get a slow push back again towards Ornn to dive him. So what Ornn should have done earlier was like, okay, Renekton wants to make me low and force me base so they can dive me later. So what I should do as Ornn is base earlier, buy items, TP back to lane on the freeze Renekton is doing on me, and then I can crush the wave on Renekton because I'm higher HP, right? And I have item advantage. So Renekton cannot push me out of lane. Okay, so this is what Ornn should have been doing probably, even though he TPs first. Okay, so he makes sure he doesn't die, he can crash the wave, and then he has a bounce back towards him. Okay, and Renekton is forced to TP, because Ornn has with more items, is going to be able to zone the Renekton from the wave on the boss back if Renekton doesn't TP. Doesn't like back base and TP again. Okay. And Renekton is going to lose too much. So it's going to be a trade of TP. So it's a mistake from Ornn, but a good punish from KeyCorp. Okay. So that's the first blood here. And okay, so Ujir responds on answers on the dragon, which is pretty good. Victor is pretty happy still because he has a free back. He takes some CS advantage on Tristana, so it's kind of a trade, right? So it's a really good advantage on the top side, but like the rest of the map is fine. Like Victor is still farming well, Jinx is really far ahead, right? So it's fine. Like Lilia punishes Ujir from being bot side, but Ujir responds is pretty well. He's like, my support is coming first because they have bot prio, you know? Like whenever we see Tristana and and Lilia look at bot lane, like at red side bot lane. Okay, so when they see the dive here, what they are doing here? Okay, so here they dove top. So what we can do is have tempo on the bot side. So Udyr is gonna take dragon. Bot side, like Thresh and Jinx are gonna crash. Like they are 3v2, so it's easy to crash, and they have a better trio lane, right? Thresh is gonna recall first before Alistar, and he's gonna go with Udyr on his Raptors, to deny the snowball farming from Lilia, who's gonna use the top kill to invade top jungle. We see Victor can back. It's fine. He has TP. He can be there whenever he wants, right? So he has free TP. He has Love Scepter. It's really good for him. He has TP, so whatever happens, he can be there. So Thresh recalls before Alistar. Udyr is gonna go up to his Raptors to make sure that he stops the Lilia from snowballing here, and like Victor and Udyr come up at Raptors at the same time. So this is really flippy from Lilia. She still gets the Raptors, but it's really flippy, right? With like some better timings, it could be way more dangerous, and with some other champs, it can be dangerous. So just take care. So Lilia should have just take Krugs and recall with the same timing as Renekton, right? And then go back to her bot lane. Okay. So this is what they wanted to do to stop the snowball, and they couldn't invade the bot side. I feel like because Victor was base. If Victor like stays in lane, in the mid lane, they could invade Lilia's bot jungle and trade top to bot because they had mid power. But since Victor is backing, they can't like be on the aggressive, just have to be on the response and just try to get tempo with the bot lane. So it's like use bot lane to like stop the snowball from bot, which is fine because they are scaling. So since they are scaling, they like don't have to be too much on the aggressive play. Okay, so some mistake by Oren, punished by KCorp, pretty well. But like it's fine. Like as we said, Victor is still farming. We got a Drake first. The Jinx is really far ahead now. So it's like fine. Like nothing much is gonna happen here. Support just being mid to make sure. I don't really remember what's gonna happen next, but so Lilia is probably gonna just look for bot farming into top side again, right? She really wants like there is no dragon anymore, so Lilia is gonna be just passing to top again. Since BTXL crashed the wave before, the tempo to play with Uji on the Raptors, they have a bounce back now and they can zone again, freeze the Ezreal and Alistar from, you know. Okay, this is pretty interesting. Okay, I remember this play. Okay, I remember this play. So this play is interesting as well, in my opinion, because here I think it's kind of a bluff, right? I think it's kind of a bluff because Renekton actually has no flash here. So with Ornn ult and Udyr, I think even if Renekton has ult, I think he can actually die because it's Udyr still level 6 with red buff and on ult, so it can be like a really like big lock CC. Also two flashes on Ornn and Udyr, but the thing is, they don't have mid prio first in the first place. They don't have mid prio, which is like they know that Tristan is gonna roam first. So it's kind of hard for them to take a skirmish here. They can't like maybe a hard one shot him. And really strong part is they don't know where Lilia is. Lilia is most likely at her crux because we know that both jungler took opposite clears. So Lilia should be at the same camp as what Uji is doing right now. So Uji is slightly like behind because he took a Drake, so he lost some tempo of it. He was able to take it back a bit when he fought his Raptors, but in general, he just slightly behind Lila, but it's fine. Like not like too much. He did what he had to do, but he's slightly behind. So since he's doing his Krugs, Lilia should be doing her Krugs as well if she wants to like power farm a lot, which she wants to do a lot of time. But they don't know, like they're not sure that Lilia is bot side, so it's kind of hard for them to go on the Renekton blindly. But Renekton is kind of bluffing here, I think. So it's kind of really aggressive, but it's fine for BTXL not to take that fight because, as we said, they are scaling, so like they don't have to take the bluff. Even though they have wards in the rivers and Archer. What I really like though is since Renekton plays aggressive on top side, it could make sense. They could be like communication could be like, okay, Renekton is really aggressive here, so it's probably because Lilia is behind him, so we can play on the aggressive in the bot side, okay, and we force a hill on 2v2. But here it's still 2v2 bot lane, also kind of, I'd say not, I'd say like some kind of coin flipping because still they have no information on Lilia here in the bot side. So both lane, so they assume that Lilia is top based on what Renekton is doing, right? So they take a fight bot, which like it makes sense if they think Lilia is top. Okay, what I think they could have done, maybe, just an assumption, they could have actually like taken both aggressions, because if they take top aggression and bot aggression, Lilia can't be at the boss at both plays at the same time. So they could like be, if they wanted to, okay, Lilia can be bot or top. We have two options of being very aggressive here. Let's take both, and one is gonna be win. But like in general, I think it's fine not to take like the top side aggression because Renekton is fed, while bot side is like more likely because they probably don't want to play bot, especially because Jinx is 6, Thresh is 5. Um, so I think it's like better for them. It's kind of a mistake from Alistar though to be like contesting the ward when they see his Lilia being in the top side, but he sees Udyr on his Crux thanks to Renekton, so he's like, it's fine for us to take a 2v2, like we know that Udyr is not here to punish us. So we use the mid and top prior for Herald, which is fine. So let's look at bot wave though. So Ezreal and Alistar actually are low here, right? Like here on the cannon wave, they're kind of low. So and they know that Udyr is gonna pass bot. Okay, so since they know that Udyr is gonna pass bot, what they do is like, okay, it's a cannon wave. Our team is gonna play for Herald. So what we're going to do is kind of sacrifice Ezreal form, and be like, okay, we don't like Lilia wants to play for Herald, so I don't want to get dove by Udyr and Thresh on the cannon wave that is stacking because here cannon wave is coming. Okay, next cannon wave is coming, so they don't want them to stack two waves or and dive them. Okay, because Alistar 4 and Ezreal without ult is really diveable with Udyr. So they just sacrifice farm to get the Herald. Because with the Herald, they're gonna be able to take like the first tower, especially top side, or get plates on mid lane. So here Renekton kind of forces Prio, taking trades. It's fine if he loses some HP, he just forces Prio to play for the Herald. So as we said, here KCorp kind of decides to lose CS on the bot lane to get tempo for Alistar. So Alistar is around Herald, right? So Thresh arrives later, but it's too late. They got Herald on KCorp here. Okay. But Jinx is like 2 CS ahead, which is pretty good for her. This is just wave clear ult. Maybe he was scared of something, I'm not sure. Just fighting for some vision for the next dragon in 1 minute, using mid player as we said, but it's fine. So Ezreal is pretty far behind, but it's okay. Like if he doesn't die, it's fine. Because it is pretty bad for Ezreal and Alistar, but Alistar still doesn't. Just have to make sure that it doesn't die. Okay, this is another move that I feel interesting. It is a 3v3. So why is Lilia playing bot side? Um, I'm not sure yet. I think. Okay, I remember watching that yesterday. Okay, yeah. Okay, oh yes, I remember. I remember now. Okay, where it comes from. Look at mid lane here. Um, they have like here. There is several options. We have the Herald, so we could put Herald on the bot lane to give gold to Ezreal, which means we use top and mid player to get gold on Ezreal, or we take top tower to have higher tempo on the top side because Renekton is gonna be able to push more, you know, on the top side to have more time to roam to mid, or we put it mid for Tristana to scale better as well, or like keep it for tempo on the next dragon coming. Okay. mm. And here there is a small mistake from Tristana, or maybe it's a miscommunication, but it's like a slight small mistakes because she still has prio on Victor. Like no problem on that. She still has free prio. But what happens is the fact that she has prio here and she walks to top here. See? So here she walks to top, which means she probably wants to use her prio to keep playing for top side. And by doing that, see, she walks to top when her jungle is bot side. right? Because maybe the goal is to play for next Drake or to actually use an advantage we have in the top side, which is Renekton TP over Ornn. We don't have TP on Tristana, but they have TP on Victor, but it's fine because Tristana has like free prio on Victor. So if Victor TPs, he loses a lot, okay? And we can like disengage pretty easily. Since Renekton has TP, it's fine for us to take a play on the bot side, okay? But the mistake, is it a mistake or just bad team call? I don't know, not sure if it's miscommunication. It gives Victor a free prio mid, which doesn't happen often, okay? So here Victor doesn't like follow Tristana. He's like, okay, Tristana has roamed a bit. She missed the timing. Tristana jumps here to get the wave faster, and Victor starts roaming first. So here BTLX is like, okay, we actually have a tempo. We know that Tristana has no TP. I think so. Sorry, but Renekton has one. Okay, yes. And then his bot jungler are probably tops. Bot side we have, so here BTLX maybe think we are stronger with Strings and Thresh. Thresh just got level 6. Tristan Alistar is 5, Jinx is 7, and Ezreal is 6. Okay, so since our bot lane is stronger, we can look for something at the bot side. Okay, Jinx is really stronger here. And Thresh as well, obviously. There was a small mistake by Thresh earlier because he has no flash now. That was gonna cost his flash, but we'll go back when he actually dies soon. Like, I think he's gonna die here. So we're looking, so BTLX is probably looking for something with the bot lane advantage, but they may not like remember the fact that Renekton actually has TP advantage. And here Renekton is gonna crash his top wave, which means he has like a free recall and he's gonna actually buy Stridebreaker and use TP for bot side. So this is like kind of a timing that BTLX feel like they are stronger, right? But they are like really not. Sorry, because of a Renekton advantage. And this is how you use top advantage for bot side. So what's interesting as well is the fact that Victor doesn't look like to roam bot side. He just stops Tristana for roaming. You know, he uses the fact that he moved first to stop her, so he kind of like trade her and zone her, or just at least like follow her, right? Here he kind of fights her here, I think. You see, like he doesn't roam, he just like stays around, just pokes her here. You know, like we can see like the W on the top left. He used W to try and slow her. He kind of pokes her with E, something like that. Because Tristana is kind of fed as well. She's stronger than Victor, I feel like, for now, in team fights, or at least in skirmishes. So he just doesn't want her to be running on the bot side, because if we just let the 3v3 happen, BTLX is gonna win. Okay. So he doesn't want Tristana to join. He doesn't need to join. He doesn't need to. He just needs to stop Tristana from moving. Okay. So they end up not taking the fight here, just vision. You know, just make sure that BTLX has prior bot to take vision for Dragon, which is good. So they don't take the fight because Renekton has TP. So this is pretty good. But then there is a mistake is gonna happen here. Look at it. This is Hex Flash, and this is the Force. Force fighting. Get an Olino Ezreal, but Renekton TP. Thresh dies. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because then there are like a lot of stuff happening. Okay. Okay, so I just want to look back at slightly before when Thresh actually uses Flash here. Okay, so look at this. Look at this. Remember when they play for Herald here, right? Yeah, when they play for Herald. So here Victor has no mana, and Victor is like, you know, recalling now. And your Udyr kind of like uses the fact that it will help to just get the scuttle to prepare Drake and get some gold. It's fine. denies them from controlling the bot side. But Thresh goes in the pit, you know, and gets caught by Alistar, Lilia, and Tristana coming back to him because Victor is base and Tristana, and they push the wave. You know, like Alistar and Lilia and Tristana push the mid wave, so they're like rotating to bot to get river control, and they are chasing Thresh, and Thresh flashes here, flashes out here. So Thresh makes a mistake here. It's one mistake from him that just cost a flash. So for now in this game, we've seen like maybe one or let's say two, but the second mistake from Ornn, let's say, was a consequence of the first already. So let's take one big mistake from Ornn that cost him his life, one big mistake from Thresh here that cost his flash, And one mistake from Tristan slightly later, but like not big, that Kendall lost her tempo by roaming top instead of bot lane. Okay, so here. This is another mistake from Tristana here. And then there is a second mistake from Thresh that cost him his life as well. Because it's a good call not to take the fight here because of Renekton. Okay? So it's a good call. Just make sure that you are around to make sure that you have bot prio. So it's 3v3. Mid, you don't want to look for a fight. You just don't Tristana. They don't each other, kinda. Make sure that you have bot prio. With bot prio, look for Dragon Vision. So it's pretty good. Kind of a bad trade on the top side, but it doesn't matter too much. Renekton just want to keep pushing. He has TP advantage, so he can recall first. So Ornn doesn't join for team fight here. Okay. So here what's gonna happen is everyone kind of left, right? That put vision, and Victor and oh wait, and we're going to look for mid. Okay, so Udyr kind of zoned the Tristana, pretty good. Uses the prior mid, to zone the Tristana from the wave here, like push her away. So Victor has prior as well. So we have bot prior, we have mid prior. Okay, and we do that to give blue to Victor. Okay, so he has a better prior, and also he has blue for the fight, for example. That's probably gonna come, or at least for dragon. Okay, so it's good to keep the blue for the fight and the prior that they want to look for. But here it's a mistake from Thresh again because his mid is getting pushed and he wants to like get the wave back to him. Okay, and Udyr is gonna like be around bot to look for bot prior, and then after this, after mid and bot prior, we can look for the Drake when he spawns. And Ornn is basing here, you know, because it's probably cannon wave, and she just wants to walk down to dragon and look for a fight with his ult. That's gonna be like up soon. Okay, I mean his TP is even up soon, so it's fine. Okay, so TP advantage is like um, even soon. But Thresh goes too deep here because they just want to crash the wave, and he thinks, I mean, they're stronger 2v2, this is right. But he's like kind of misses the timing, right, of his jungle and top lane and mid laner. Looks for a 2v2, aggressive play, on Renekton TP timing. So Renekton just bases here, just based. He has Threadbaker, so he's like, this is Godzilla, right? This is God Renekton level 9 with Threadbakers. He's like maybe the stronger he can be in the early game. He's like so huge, and he just walks up and get a kill on Thresh. So it's like really, really, really bad from Thresh. So two mistakes. Maybe if he has Flash, he just doesn't die. Flash is out, and they still lose Dragon probably, or at least bot prior because of that, because of a mistake from him. um, but yeah, two mistakes causes death and objective. So this is really good for KCorp. Adaptation from his team though, like Ornn cancels his base because he's like, okay, so I don't need to base here, I don't need to go to Drake, Drake is lost, so I don't need to be around my team, I just need to punish Renekton from TPing, okay, so I'm gonna stay top and I'm gonna take plates, and try to get some resources for myself, and I'm gonna have TP soon, so I can kind of recall whenever I want and then TP to a fight if something really like bad happens. What I find really interesting here is the fact that, Lilia was at Wolves, because she probably would just wanted to get like from maybe her wolves and grump or whatever, just wolves to get some XP more before going back to Drake with her top laner, you know, and mid prio. So here she's walking bot to bot, for dragon. And since the bot fight is actually already winning, they actually turn on Victor, right? To make sure they force a 2v1 in the mid lane, because bot is already like a 3v2. Thresh got one shot, so Thresh doesn't count. It's 3v2 here. It's 3v2, and 3v2 is 1 because Renekton is so far ahead. So they look for a 2v1 in the mid lane, so they have bot, mid, and bot prior. Okay? So they can select snowball from it. So they force the Victor out, and then actually I can use Herald in the mid lane as well to snowball from that though. It's really, really, really bad from Advent here to make that play. Because the Herald, if they ever make like one mistake, the Herald is gonna snowball them so hard. So this costs so much, and it was an unnecessary 2v2 play. Okay, so don't do that, please. There is a mistake from KCorp actually here, which is going to be interesting, but I'm going to let you watch it first, and then we will roll back here because I think it's really interesting. So we're looking for a dev in the mid lane. We took first tower with Harold. We look at with let's say an ult from Lilia and Victor, and Renekton actually goes in under T2, and we lose one member, and we lose Drake here as well, right? And we lose Drake here. I mean, it's kind of like whatever. Ornn is making a mistake as well, but he doesn't die. Just flashes out, which is pretty bad for him. Just overstay here. Like he doesn't need to be around. He doesn't need to be this deep. Like if you want to help mid, just be on the same side. Especially his weak side, shouldn't be like, yeah, whatever. So we got Drake. Okay, so this is pretty bad snowballing from KCorp, to be honest, from the kills they got. Because they could have taken so much. I mean, they still took a lot, but they could have taken way more. Let's go back to it. So they took, because here, whenever you get the kill on the Thresh here, right? Here you're thinking about, okay, so let's just take Drake, right? It's free. But you don't really want to do that when you have held, especially like here there's running Victor that actually like forced him to flash out, which is pretty good. So you want to force held mid first, right? Because whatever you want to do Drake, you want to have prio first, so you don't lose resources. So you play with held mid, you get plates, um, and after you get mid prio, you also go for Drake. But there's something that is really important here, is bot prio as well. If you leave Jinx and Ezreal 1v1, Jinx is gonna have prio. Okay, now she's kind of stronger than Ezreal. And if she just looks for the push, she's gonna outpush Ezreal. I know that some people in the listening to me are probably gonna say, if I'm Ezreal, I'm going to look for the 1v1. But yes, this is conflict, and you don't want to do that because sometimes it's gonna work, and sure, it's gonna be a hoot snowball, but your team is already winning on the map, and if you lose, it can be like really bad that Jinx gets killed. So you don't want to do that. You just let her push you, and it's fine. Because Jinx shouldn't be able to push bot lane here, right? She shouldn't be able. It's a mistake from KCorp to actually leave Ezreal in the 1v1 because to Drake you want to have mid prio and bot prio. Like Thresh is dead here, and Ornn is still top, which means you can have number advantage on both mid and bot. So what you want to do is get like jungler is already on Victor, right? Udyr is roaming to mid to make a 2v2 to help his Victor, which is fine. Like he doesn't need to be bad. Like Jinx can farm safe here. So one should be walking to mid to make a 3v2 to make sure that you have mid prio, and the other one, to either Renekton or on Alistar, should be staying bot here. Okay, one should be staying bot for Ezreal to help Ezreal get prio on Jinx. If Jinx is 2v1, she has to give prio, right? And then Ezreal can have either a free recall or just roam to Drake. So take both prios and not just one. So let's roll it. So let's roll here. So this is already like a 2v1 in the mid lane. So we put Hell, which is pretty good. And here we look for a dive, but look at bot. Here we are winning one lane, right? We are hard winning mid. It's fine. Like we're looking for a dive and mid respect. It's fine. But we are losing top because Ornn is getting farm, so he's getting back in the game in 1v1. Okay. And also he's gonna take at least one plate for himself. Okay. And Jinx is gonna get prey on bot, which means she's gonna have a free recall again. She's gonna get snowballed on from the fact that we used our top advantage, but she's still able to farm, and actually she has solo XP here, so she's really happy with that. And she's gonna have bot prio, which means she's gonna get prio for, at least it's harder for enemy team to get free Drake, right? So we should take mid for KCorp and just go back to Drake with bot prio as we said. Okay, and try to spread the map more. So we take this. We should be taking this wave as we said, but we don't need to be 4. We just need it to be 3, right? Alistar could be bot to help the Ezreal push, because here Ezreal see he's like really under his tower. Also, he had no information on Udyr before, because the whole river was warded by Udyr before. Like BTXL controlled the whole river for the whole game, which is fair. because EGR played there, right? It's just Renekton TP bot, but they had no vision. So Jinx was fine because she actually saw the Alistar and Renekton coming to mid. So she's like, I know that I'm 1v1 against Ezreal and I win against Ezreal, so I can just push him. And then we look like for a play on T2, and we lose tempo on that because Ornn took a plate, then he has TP, so he can just like TP and make a play on them overextending. And Jinx has has bot prio now. Okay, as we said, and since we gotta kill the mid lane, we can get mid prio and play for Drake. You know, so Thresh just stay. So here is exactly the kind of play that we should have done earlier. Is like Thresh and Ornn stay around mid to help mid prio, but Ujie can like snowball the kill by himself by doing Drake alone. This is kind of what I meant earlier. It's like you don't have to be all on the same place to snowball a play. You know, it's like if you just more people, if you're stronger, it's fine. Okay, so here we're losing plates on the bot side as well on Jinx. We cannot punish on for bad positioning though, which is pretty good. But we lose one plate on Jinx, one more wave on Jinx, a Drake, and 3 recall. So it means that the kill we got on Thresh was not like really well snowballed on. Okay, let's look at this again. Replay. Boom. Yep. The Thresh is pretty like, I mean, he knows that he doesn't have to go bot, right? He just punishes them by dying and going back to mid, which is fine. Okay, so what kind of situation is this again? Okay, so now this whole situation actually kind of changed the game states, right? Because Renekton did his TP to bot side, you know, when he was really big. But now a lot of people actually have their first items, and there is nothing much to play on top side again. Like Ornn is kind of tanky now. He has his mythic. It's a bit harder to snowball him, like in pure 1v1 or 2v1. So we don't really want to play top anymore. Renekton kind of did his job already, right? He did like fine. We could have done more, but he did like fine. Okay. Like he's not carry anymore because now Ezreal has Essence River, Power Spike, so now we can play with Ezreal a bit more. Now Ezreal actually is a champion. Okay, so, we're gonna until like third week, guys. So just next week and we'll be done because they are like really interesting stuff to talk about. I hope it's not gonna be too long though. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit long, but it's fine. Sorry about that. I try to make it as fast as I can. So we can start playing for Ezreal here. Both mid laners actually have TP, so we fine. Just look for a 3v3. I mean, not much happening here, from what I see. All right. And okay, so Tristana still has prio in mid lane, so it's fine. Nothing should happen here. Yep, it's just like zoning, so both jungler are around, so nothing happens, so it's fine. But here there is mistake from Ezreal. See, right here. So this is huge. This is huge. So this is a big mistake from Ezreal again. It's like 3v3 happened, not much happened. It's fine. Good catch. Like, what does he walk up? No reason to walk up. Alistar is forced to burn everything to help him. So it's like Ezreal burning Flash, Ezreal burning Hill, and Alistar burning ult to help. And I think Flash as well. Not sure. No, okay, he has no Flash. Okay. Yep, okay. To help he Ezreal for overstepping for no reason when they actually lose 2v2, right? Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Okay. Yep. So the really interesting part here is the fact that okay, sure there was a fight, that there was a kind of mistake for Ezreal. I think Ezreal is like I can try to bait here, maybe, you know. It's like I can try to force the prio because look at mid. Mid is like I have mid prio with Tristana. Like Tristana still have prio on Victor for now, okay? He doesn't have Luden yet, and when he has Luden, he can look for to like get more damage on Tristana, who he can zone her a bit more. So top laners are not part of the play here. It's just about mid lane players. Tristana is like, okay, I can move first. So if you can maybe the communication is like, if you can look for a fight in the bot lane, I'll be able to roam first. But there's something that they may have forgotten, is the fact that Victor has TP. So Victor doesn't care. And Victor is level 11. He has TP, so he can join later. And here, if you look at mid, he actually takes the wave, and then he just waits. You know, he just waits. You'll see. This is Syncroft looking for play that I can understand because he has stopwatch. So here Syncroft is like, I have stopwatch, I can flash Q into ult and we triple kill them, and even if Alistar dies, it's worth it. Okay. Looks for play, really good hook into good stun from Ujir, and one shot Lilian. She doesn't have time to stopwatch here. So it's kind of a he Syncroft tries to Lilian looks to for play and he fails, which is why mechanics are important, but you also have to know that you're playing against players that have at least in general the same mechanics as you. So you shouldn't be playing to outplay them, but playing when you know it works, which means play slower. You know, you don't need to go for it yet. You can wait for Tristana to be hit, can look to crash the wave, and then you can look for something. Or at least just make sure that you use your mid player to get you as well a free recall, for example, because he's low here, and Alistar is low as well. Ezreal has no flash, he has no heal because he made a mistake before. Alistar has no ult, he's really low, and we're looking for a fight in these conditions. Even if we're mid pro, it's really bad. So what we should have done here is not look for a play that can backfire, and it's going to backfire because of Victor TP and the outplay from Thresh. We don't look for a play. We'll use mid player to secure a free back from our bot lane that actually made a mistake. And it's fine, they made a mistake, they are humans. We have mid player. Okay, we just gave them a free recall. Okay, we just have them. But we're looking for the play here. It backfires, you know. So we look for a 3v2 for BTXL. Tristana shows up, and instantly when Tristana jumps in and shows up, Victor instantly TPs. As we said, he was ready. Look, he wasn't pushing mid, he was waiting for TP at the exact right time. Just instant TP. Pretty good double kill by Tristana though, but still Victor is here. He can clean up, and we get a 4 for 2, which is really, really bad because KC was in an early game advantage. They have all their gold on Renekton, and they're making a play on the bot side with no Renekton, Alistar no ult, against the strongest member of BTXL, which was Jinx, and Victor could follow up anyway. So it was really bad play here from jungle, especially in general the play from the mistake from Ezreal and a mistake from Lilia that cost us this play. And it's really bad because they are outscaled, and Renekton is already kind of outscaled, because he can't really punish the Ornn a lot anymore. Okay, so this is really important. Next play, it's never gonna stop until 18 minutes at least. A really interesting play here. I really like that play. I really, really like that play. And I think it showed that the Marknoon guy, Ujir, is really good, to be honest. Because here a play happened in the bot lane. Okay, so nothing happened top. But what's going to happen from this? If you see, Victor and Ujir are not dead. They are pushing bot because they are punishing, getting more resources. But what does it make? It says that Alistar and Ezreal died first. They died before Jinx and Thresh. Okay? They died first, which means they have tempo. Yes, they died first, but they have tempo because they're going to respawn first. By respawning first, they have the next move. So this is why whenever you play, guys, you have to think that, okay, I died first, but since I respawned first, I also have the next move. Whenever you back first, next move. Respawning is the same. You're back on the map before. So what's going to be the next move? Next move is going to be topside. Nothing is going to happen bot, right? No one is going to be bot. Victor is going to recall, Rich is going to recall, so nothing is going to happen. So next move is probably going to be topside. And top laners are waiting for the team to have something happen. What kind of information do we want to look for? Alistar's moving first, so we know that Alistar should be going to topside. Lilia should be going to topside. She's going to recall. She's going to be on the map before Udyr because Udyr is just starting recalling, so he has 8 seconds to recall. Lilia has 6 seconds to recall, so she's going to be top at least at the same time, right? But Alistar is going to be there faster. So Renekton here sees something, which is actually we can use that tempo, because we have Tristana TP, right? And Tristana TP is the difference maker in this play. Victor, we know that Victor responded to Tristana tempo prio before with his TP, which is good, but now he has none. So we have mid TP advantage, so we can use Tristana TP advantage to make a play on the top side to respond to our failed play on the bot side. Okay, so since we have failed play, Renekton is like, okay, so I can stay top, I can kind of bait. But look at the Ujir guy. That Ujir is really good. Why? Because he actually understands that the next play is gonna be top. See, Renekton cancels because here they're communicating about Tristana TP. He's like, okay, let's look for something top. Like you can do something at least. But Ujir understands that and he rushes to top side because he sees Renekton being under aggressive. So he rushes to top side. He understands that enemy team has tempo, but he's Ujir, so he can be faster, and he wants to help his own here. And see, Thresh walks to mid, Alistar walks to mid first, and Lilia walks to walls, which means Alistar and Lilia should have tempo, right? Should be there first, but they are not because maybe communication was not clear enough, or maybe they didn't see the opportunity when Ujir actually sees it. And I think it's really, really good from him to see that opportunity. And he walks to top, and then Thresh, Alistar, and Lilia are like, oh fuck, something's happening topside. They didn't think about it, you know? So Urgia shows up first, and they actually punish Renekton for taking that trade. But, as we said, Tristana TP. So even if Tristana died last, she had TP, so she could join the fight. And see, Alistar and Lilia had slightly higher tempo than Thresh and Victor, right? And the rest of the team. So Alistar and Lilia are actually there as well before. Because here, I think in pure 1v1, Ujir could win against Tristan as well, with like a bear slap into Phoenix, maybe. So it was kind of close. So it was really, really good from Ujir to recognize the situation and actually take that 2v1 into 2v2. Maybe they forgot about the Tristana TP though, or maybe they just assumed they could win the 2v2. I think they maybe could, but it's all about tempo, like who is there first. And even though Ujir dies here, I think he's the one that actually like showed the best read of the map here. Especially because there is a Herald, second Herald as well, even though I think second Herald is pretty bad to play for. So Jinx goes back to mid, punishes them from tanking Herald and the play. Victor is kind of late, so he just like takes Krugs, makes sure he doesn't get dove but by Alistar and Lilia and stuff, you know. Yep. So this is all about tempo. Even though you think maybe Renekton is like inting and Renekton and Tristana is like helping him from his mistake, I think this is a coordinated play for sure. Right? This is communicated. At least for Tristan and Renekton. Maybe not for support and jungle. But the rest of the team is communicating. Top and mid for sure. So okay. So now it's gonna be dragon play. And I'll stop after that, okay? I'll stop after the dragon play because I think it's really interesting here. So everyone is just grouping here for next Drake, which is really huge because it's actually third Drake, which is kind of huge for both teams because if BTXL gets it, they have a really good win condition with their hard scaling, right? And so KCorp wants, but KCorp are slightly ahead. They are ahead and they want to make sure that the dragon scaling stops now. Also, there is a really, really, really important situation here that we want to look for every time, right? And I'll pause. So we look for mid prio as well every time, right? So mid prio first, as we know. The basics. Pretty good, well played from Renekton here to push bot first, so he get more resources, and also he gets full rage, full fury, full passive, which is actually really good for him. So whenever a situation like this happens, we have to think about team fight is gonna happen here. Probably, do we have to take it? I mean, BTXL doesn't have to take it because it's third Drake. They can let one if they don't feel like as strong, and they can like put Jinx topside, get free farm, get free tower for her. And I think it's a good play to do that, not put Jinx on situation, but we have to think why. In terms of BTXL, we have front to back team fight, right? You have Udyr in the front, Ornn in the front, Thresh in the middle, kinda, or behind, and Jinx and Victor like really behind with DPS and more range. And in terms of KCorp, we have, as we said, the early game snowball into a flank by Renekton, you know, and kind of an Alistar hard engage, but it's kind of harder for them to really like team fight. But the main key here is we have both flashes on Alistar and Renekton, and we have none on Jinx. Okay, so when I first watched this game, and I hadn't watched the team fight before, now I have, so I can actually like tell you what's gonna happen. But I hadn't watched the fight. I was like, okay, so let's pause here, guys, and let's watch the summoners. And I was like, without watching, I was like, okay, so we're gonna have a Flash Renekton W and an Alistar combo on Jinx. She's gonna get one shot, and fight is gonna be one. Because if Jinx dies, Victor doesn't have enough damage to kill the whole enemy team because they actually have too much damage with Renekton, Lilia, Tristana as well. Right? They have too much cleanup, too much damage on everyone. When BTXL has easier comp to execute, but if one of the carries dies, they don't have enough damage to do the rest. Okay. So since it's third Drake, which means yes, it's important for them to have that Drake because they can stack for soul. The fact that Renekton is still quite ahead, right? Tristana is also quite ahead. She has 2 items when like Victor has like not even 1.5. So Tristana is really fed, Renekton is fed, and Ezreal actually starts having some damage as well. Jinx has no flash. We can't like let's say flip the fight when Queen can just like put Jinx top, right? Put Ornn farming mid, give one Drake, wait for Jinx to have flash, get her like 2 waves, top tower, maybe catch Herald. So even though it's not the best Herald, you can still take it for tempo later, or at least for T1 top or maybe T1 mid at some point, you know. Just get resources on Jinx and just wait for her flash. Because it's hard for you to peel her without flash, right? Because Alistar and Renekton. But even though looking at this, the fight is gonna be like kind of close, but I think it's kind of a mistake from Jinx, to be honest, at some point. Just slight mistake in terms of positioning. So here she like Renekton sure has free access on Jinx, but it's like fine. I think her first mistake is to be hitting Dragon. She should be hitting Dragon, should be around Thresh more. I mean Thresh is kind of positioning himself to learn on Jinx before the like you know. Here they are DPSing Dragon. If Jinx is engaged, Thresh actually uses Lantern to make her away from the side, which is good positioning from him. Here he understands what his role is in the fight. Jinx, Renekton has kind of a free opening on Jinx, but it's like Renekton doesn't have like huge engage. I mean, he has like E and Flash, right? So if he walks to Jinx, she just gets Lantern. She walks away. Okay. The more dangerous part is Alistar, who is on the left. So we see him, and actually there is Ornn being able to stop him, so it's better. So what's gonna happen here is that just walk back when Renekton ults. You see he has full fury because he found bot, so it's pretty good for him to do that. So we all walk away. See Renekton stuns, Udyr stuns Renekton. Ornn walks away because we have a front to back, we say. So we just want to make sure that our carries actually are in position to DPS before we do something. Okay, so we just peel back, right? So this is how most of our composition should be played, right? It's front to back. This is like it's like not Ornn walking, like jumping in alone on the Ezreal or ulting into Alistar as well. Just like walk down, walk away. Pretty good disengage from Thresh with the ult here, right? And the Flay and the hook on Renekton, right? So Jinx can reposition here, but what's gonna happen is now that all actual peeling tools are used, the Renekton is gonna flash W on Jinx, Alistar is gonna follow up with a flash combo, and Tristana is gonna one-shot Jinx. Look at it. Renekton flash W, Q Renekton to heal, he actually survives. Alistar combo ignite on Jinx, Tristana kills her, and then Jinx is dead and fight is over. So when you play Jinx here, the mistake from Jinx here, like I think the overall idea is good, like how BTLX actually like played this fight. But Jinx makes one mistake. She walks, if you look at her, she walks to the right and she stays in minigun. And hey, it's really, really close fight because when I say it's close fight is because if Renekton dies like half a second before he flashes W Jinx and Qs to heal, and if he dies, the fight is really won for BTXL because Jinx has passive, they have no tank anymore, and they can like really like destroy the fight with Orn engage, right? So here it's all about killing Renekton first. See, he has like 2 HP. He Qs here during the airborne, the Alistar combo, right? And he has like 2 HP here and just survives. So what Jinx would have done is not put herself in a flash Renekton W range at any point. So here, her walking to the right is a mistake. She should be standing up on the left next to Hatrix, next to Victor on the left with Rocket, you know, and W. And should be like hitting Renekton max range because if Renekton wants to flash on her, then there is no one from his team being able to follow him up because they are too far. By her actually walking to the right, she put herself in range of Renekton Flash W, and she put herself in range of Tristana jump. You know, like here, Tristana actually jumps in to get in range of hitting Jinx. If Jinx walks to the upper left, she's not in range of being hit by Tristana. Maybe she gets stunned by Renekton, and even CC'd by Alistar, but the rest of the team is not able to follow up the CC from Renekton and Alistar. And Renekton dies, Alistar can't kill Tristana alone. Alistar dies in ult because he probably flashed for it. And then it's a 5v3. And Ornn ults to zone Ezreal or Tristana. And the Thresh ult is really good here. Okay. Okay, so let's run it. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. And Victor actually like flashed in the wall because he was ulted by Lilia, so he wanted to get over the wall before and he was forced to flash before. And then we lose this. And then, I mean, game should be over here, even though it's not because KCorp actually has some hard time snowballing, especially around Nashor, and they cannot make it 50-50, but win the 50-50, so it's fine. But here, like, game should be over, right? Boom. Just because Jinx had no flash. And she made some, like, slight mistakes. Boom. Okay. So I wanted to stop here, guys, because I think it's long enough. And I hope it's gonna help you understand some more, let's say, early map movements to transition to mid game, how to use advantage, how to use prio, and how to use tempo as well. So see you guys and good luck.